everybody, I'm Viktorija, I'm studying in Kauno Kolegija. This is my last year, and today I'm going to talk about Lithuanian heritage, Voruta. So, what is the problem of work? And it's simply because Voruta was never rebuilt. It was built in the 30th century, and there was a lot of social media articles about rebuilding it. There's even some projects going on, but in the end, nothing even started to being. They just sent some wooden and nothing started to being rebuilt. And so automatically my aim to the work is to create Voruta castle in 3-dimensional models for educational VR game. So my aim is to have a game where you can walk in Voruta basically. So my task is analyze necessary material for work, choose which software program I am going to use, create model and textures based by historical material, and create visualization in an adapting unit. So what is work? Perhaps it's a camp, perhaps it's a statue, perhaps its main art actually is wine. I am just joking, of course. Wine would be the first Google search you found if you Google Voruta. It has nothing to do with Lithuanian heritage or with my theme. My theme is wooden castle, as you can see in this picture. It's a picture of a museum that owns it. So why Voruta is so important? And it was the only Lithuanian king Mindaugas castle, and it was built to protect him from, you can say, civil war, because other princes tried to attempt his throne, and he standed successful. He did defend himself, and he later on became king. And to this day we have Lithuanian holiday, other words, rest day, of Lietuvos Karaliaus Mindaugo karūnavimas, or in English, Lithuanian King Mindaugo's coronation. Of course, this event doesn't actually come hand to hand. It's just that Voruta helped him winning, and that lead to coronation, and on. So about the history, as I mentioned before, it was built in the 30th century, although it took 7 centuries to find it. On the one hand, you could say, oh, it's wooden castle, decays in 100 years, of course it's hard to find, but on the other hand, it was actually mentioned in historical writings that it existed, it was used. And you can see in this picture is archaeologist Gintautas Zabiela. He was the one discovering where is Voruta, and on the other picture you can see ŠEIMYNIŠKŒLIȯ MOUND is where it discovers the Voruta. So why it took 7 centuries to actually found it? So the only written sources by that time mentioned that Voruta was near Varnėnai, and currently Varnėnai is a city, small city, while in reality it was built between Voruta and Varėlio rivers. So I think it was just miscommunication, I guess you can say that, because pronunciation sounds very similar, whereas Varnėnai and Varėlio. Of course, it might be just that Mindaugas didn't want to reveal where he's hiding, and maybe he just wanted peace, and it just might be one of many reasons, of course. So, analyzing the castle. You can see in this picture Tervetės castle found in Latvia. Of course, it's a different castle, but it's real-life example how it should look like, because it was built in similar time, and by the 13th century they didn't have the tools necessary to make something beautiful, and everything just had to basically had a purpose. And you can see it logs built one on another. Just basically a simple building. I don't know how else to explain. In the middle picture you can see layout of the castle, and you can tell what layout of the castle is, because in 30th century usually when someone defeats a wooden village, they burn it down. because they have defeated it, they taken everything what they can, and then they burn it down. And so, because it was never burned out, archaeologists managed to find the rotten wood that is different from just basically dirt that was near it, and based by that rotten dirt layout they painted how castle is supposed to be, and based by that information they built a little small diagram which is also in that museum. They own this diagram, and so basically I just having this information I had to choose what software I am going to use. And of course I use Photoshop. I think everyone uses Photoshop. So I use it for texture creation, texture changing, maybe scaling, coloring. I change a lot of my textures, colors. Then for mainly 3D program I used was Autodesk 3ds Maya, and later on I used Autodesk 3ds Max for a small visualization. And of course Unity was chosen for game making, so I also have built castle in Unity. Modeling. As you can see here, I have the same actually model. It looks different because after some work I had discussion with the historian, and then I changed some things. For example, you can see here wood is sharp and not even. It's because by 30th century they didn't have tools to make it perfect, and they basically either point it out or just leave it as it is. I changed the door because they didn't have double doors at the time. They just had this, you can see a wall that they would carry on, like the Shrek movie where they use stone. And they also, these windows that I make actually very not realistic, because windows had this very little space. You can say that it's because you would use the space to shot something, like with an arrow, and you will hope that enemy wouldn't hit you bad because the opening was so small. And my textures, of course, you can see here just two textures like before because I fixed them. The first texture that I used was a cardboard. I took a picture myself and edited, and then after I used free to use real wood texture, and over here on the top you can see a roof texture that I photoshopped to be a little bit darker. And so my results. I had two results, one in Unity and one in Autodesk, you will see it soon. So my results in Unity looks like this. One is a picture up close and the other picture is far away, which you can see all the map. Of course, I didn't mention I did some bridges too, but they're very simple. And I did some grass textures. And so my result in Autodesk 3ds. One picture on the left is without the textures and on the right is with textures. And so my conclusions are that I analyzed needed historical data. I choose 3ds Maya as my main 3D program to model tower, gates, walls, and etc. And then according to historical information, I modeled, created, and then textured my objects. And of course, I put everything together, adapted visualization to Unity. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, and if I am not able to answer them, please send them to my mail. You can see it right here. It's Kauno Kolegija mail. And that's about it. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope I even see you. Bye.